Hi everyone, my name is Chelsea. Thank you for joining me in today's practice. Today's practice will be a HIIT style class, so high intensity interval training. We will start with a 3-minute warm up, followed by a minute of high intensity, a minute of low intensity, a minute of high intensity, a minute of low intensity. Of course, work with your body, modify for what you need. You won't really need any props, maybe a block if you have one. Resistance bands are nice to have around, some weights if you like to add on here and there. And of course, if you feel like something doesn't feel good for your body, then switch it up. Do what works best for you. Find something that feels good for you and also something that works well with your body. Our first couple exercises I will go through just so then I'm not scrambling, and then once we have our minute break, I will continue to go through the remaining exercises. Sorry, it's early here where I'm at, so I'm just trying to guide through my words, my vocab accordingly. Okay, so the first one we'll start in standing, and then we're going to step one leg back into low lunge. Make sure that back hip is stacked over top of that back knee, and step it forwards. Same side, not alternating. If you want to go a little bit further, you can hop that knee forwards, bringing it up. So modifying wherever you need, staying on that same side. Second exercise will be squats or squat jumps. So for me, for my hips, wider feet feel better for me. If the more narrow stance, hips width feels better for you, just make sure you're sitting those hips back, a gentle, soft curve through the spine, but not dumping into that front body. So we're not coming forwards and then just lowering. We're making sure those knees stay stacked on top of the ankles, so not coming in front of the toes. So sending the hips back, sit it back. Keep that chest lifted, stay light on the toes, heavy in those heels. So that will be our squats. And then from here, we can add a hop. Making sure you have that stance before you come back up. Breathing through it. So really ground down through the feet. Screw those heels into the floor so they're sturdy, sturdy, sturdy. Excuse me. And then we will continue. Glute bridge. We're going to have the band around the thighs. If you don't have a band, that's okay. You'll still feel enough. So coming all the way onto the back. Grounding down through those heels, feet hips width. If you want to turn the toes out a little bit wider, it just helps so you're not feeling it all in the thighs. So coming here, and then we're going to start lifting through the hips, pressing palms into the mat. And maybe this is enough for you. If you want to go a little bit further as you come up, open the knees, close them back in, drop the hips. Come back up, open, close, drop the hips. And of course, if you have a band, add your band. Last but not least, in this first set before our minute break, the next one will be lying on our side, elbow under shoulder, knees bent. So those heels and ankles are in line with the hips, knees are coming forwards. And then we're going to keep the heels together. You can use your opposite arm to stabilize you here. And then we're going to just open and close the knee. Keep those heels together. Breathe here. If you want to go a little bit further, you can lift up the hips, keeping that bottom knee down, open and close, use that body weight. Really pull through the glute, feel that activation through the back body. All right, so we will get started in our 3-minute warm-up. Starting at standing, we'll work our way laterally on the mat, just stepping it out side to side. Start my timer. Starting side to side. Maybe shake out the legs, shake out the arms. Starting to warm that body up. Maybe rock the head side to side. And then meeting at the top of your mat, shaking it out. Maybe hop it out. Really release any sort of extra tension. And then ground down through the feet. Inhale, sweeping arms up as you exhale, bending the knees, hinging from the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, pulling through that back body, opening through the spine. Exhale, folding, taking feet a little bit wider, bending into the knees, grabbing opposite elbows, swaying side to side, feeling heavy here. Breathing through it. Breathing into the hamstrings. I know they're probably feeling really tight, really cramped unless you're nice and warmed up. Let the head hang a little bit heavier. Feel that upper body fall towards the mat. Really get into each side of the hip socket, working your way as deep as feels good. 2 more breaths here. Grounding down through the feet, screwing those heels into the ground, slowly rolling up, making sure the head is the last thing to rise. Rolling shoulders back, heel toeing feet back, hips with distance, palms face forwards. Find your mountain pose, find your breath. Interlacing the hands behind the back. We'll draw the hands over towards that left hip, dropping left ear to left shoulder. So notice here if that left shoulder starts to rise up, just gently rolling it back down, tucking it in along that cervical spine. Inhale, head and hands back to center. As you exhale, drawing the fingertips down towards the mat, pressing that chest forwards, taking the gaze up towards the ceiling, starting to press those hips forwards, breathing here. Inhale, slowly rising back up, drawing the hands over towards the right side this time, dropping right ear to right shoulder. And again, rolling that shoulder down along the spine. Keep that core tight, belly button in towards the spine. Low ribs are gently tucking in towards that lower belly. And releasing the head here, shake it out. Inhale, sweep arms up. As you exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding. Planting hands, we'll step feet back. Take 2 breaths in your downward facing dog before we begin. Bending the knees, looking forward, stepping or hopping to the front of the mat. Inhale, sweep arms all the way up. Exhale, hands heart center. So we're going to start back, grounding down through the left foot, stepping right leg back. Finding your low lunge, step it forwards. Staying here. Really ground down through that left foot. Feel charged up through the glutes. Back hip stacks over top of that knee. And if you want to go a little bit further, maybe bring knee up as you come forwards. Remember, staying on the same side the whole time. Whoop. Breathe it out. Find that focal point, that drishti. Something that isn't moving, something to look at. Almost there. Push yourself 10 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Shake it out. Find your squats. So legs can be either hips width or wider, toes pointing the same directions as the knees, sending those hips back. Come up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, come up. If you want to add that hop at the top, feel free to add it in wherever you'd like, making sure to ground down through those feet. Whew. Ten more seconds here. Chest stays lifted, breathing deeply. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Point those toes forwards, wide leg. Exhale, fold. Bending into one knee and then the other. Whew. Planting the hands, heel toeing feet back in, hips width. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep arms all the way up. As you exhale, those hands heart center, ground down through right leg. Step that left foot back, low lunges on the side. Whew. Try to find that focal point. Breathe into it, ground down through that front foot. Just bring that knee to hover. And if you want, guiding that knee forwards, making it a little bit trickier, adding in that balance. Whew. Breathe it out. Almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shake it out. Grab a drink. Great work. Inhale, sweeping those arms up overhead. As you exhale, grabbing left wrist, reaching over right side. Whew. Letting the inner right ear fall to the inner right arm. Create a little bit more space for the body. Pull a little taller. As you exhale, pull further over towards that right side. Inhale, come all the way up, grabbing that right hand, reaching over left side. And again, inhale, growing taller. Exhale, pull deeper. Inhale, slowly coming back up, releasing the arms, shake it out. Okay, slowly making your way onto the sit bones with control. Taking that band around the thighs if you have it. If not, just coming onto the ground. Grounding those feet into the mat. Palms down beside the hips. And then maybe you just come here, start lifting through the hips, feeling those glutes fire up as you press the hips up towards the ceiling. Stay here, 5 more breaths. From here, if you only feel it in the thighs, maybe turn the toes out a little bit wider. Heels stay in. From here, we're going to drop the hips, come up, open the knees, bring them back in, drop the hips down. Inhale, hips up, open those knees. Exhale, close, drop it down. Feel that activation through the back body as it presses its way up towards the ceiling. As you come all the way down, really try and press that tailbone, pressing that lower mat back in towards the mat. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower it down. Rock knees side to side. Release the band. Give yourself a big hug. Then rock your way all the way up through into tabletop. Stacking shoulders over wrists, hips over those knees. Inhale, drop the belly, lift top of the head. As you exhale, rounding through the upper back. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale to round. 1 more cycle here. Inhale, dropping the belly. Exhale, round it out. All right. So, making our way onto the side. Again, if you want that band, taking the band around the thighs. If not, stacking that left elbow, right elbow, whichever one you want to start with, underneath that left shoulder or right shoulder. Knees are forward. Ankles are stacked in line with the hips. Then from here, we're just going to open that top knee up and down. Keep those feet together. Breathe here. If you want to go a little bit further, lifting up the hip, keeping that bottom knee stacked onto the ground. Drive that top knee in and out. Breathe it out here. Top of the head is pulling tall, so not crunching in through the neckline. Whew. Feel that glute working as it pulls the leg up. And again, using that momentum to pull the knee down instead of just allowing that gravity to do the work. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop the hips. Come all the way up onto the sit bones. Extend legs out long. Inhale, sweeping arms up overhead. As you exhale, hinge over the hips. Seated forward fold. Maybe bring the hands to the feet or the shins. Inhale, chest lifts halfway. Exhale, fold. Holding here, take a few breaths. Slowly inhale to rise. Make your way into downward facing dog. Take a breath. Flow through that vinyasa if you would like. And then dropping the knees in child's pose or tabletop, coming into that first minute break. It's great work. So we only have 2 more sets like that, but the movements will be a little bit different. Next set, we are going to start with that opposite leg. So whichever leg you started your step back lunges with before, we're going to do the opposite. So for me, I started with my right side. I'm going to start this time with my left, stabilizing through my right. And then again, just stepping left knee back. Breathe it out here. And then we are going to work our way into swimmers onto the belly. So again, feeling those glutes engaged, low back fires up, lifting the feet, lifting the chest. And maybe you just stay here. Maybe you can extend those arms out, staying here, or maybe you can find that row. Breathing here. All right, so find yourself that last little bit of water, and we're going to get right into those step back lunges. So finding that opposite side, step it back. Either that toe taps or the knee comes up. Find your modification. Find what works for you this morning. Try to stack those joints. Keep that chest lifted. Top of the head pulls tall. Core is strong. Maybe you can step it back a little farther this time. Find that gaze, that focal point. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, sweep arms up. As you exhale, hinge from the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, planting hands, walking or hopping feet back, finding downward dog. Take a breath here. Take those feet a little bit wider, bending into the knees, walking hands back so you feel like you're sending more weight onto the heels, just so the fingertips are touching. Breathing here. Maybe you can shift back a little bit further so it almost feels like you're going to fall over. Walking hands forwards, coming back to that neutral dog. We'll lower down through plank, chaturanga, all the way onto the belly. Untucking toes, engaging those glutes, lifting those shoulder blades, lifting chest, breathing here. From here, we're going to extend arms out in front. Hold here if this is enough. From here, we're going to draw the thumbs in towards each other, pulling those elbows back. Really draw those elbows back in. Staying here, lifting through that chest. If you want to go a little bit further, lifting the toes. No compression in that lower spine. If you want to go a little bit further, start flutter kicking. Top of the head pulls long, just looking in front of the mat. At any point in time, you want to add weights, you want to add bands, listening to your body. Almost there. Breathe through it. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down, release, point those toes out, shake the hips. Let the temple rest on the mat or the forearms. Maybe let the forehead rest. Just take a breath, take a break through the back body. All right. Planting those hands, bringing the toes back in underneath the ankles and the heels, shifting the weight up through tabletop. Find a breath here. Tucking toes under, shifting hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Pedal it out, breathe through it. And bending the knees, hopping or walking forwards. Inhale, sweep arms up. Exhale, forward fold. And we're just going to do that opposite side step back lunges. And then we're done with these. So grounding down this time through that opposite stabilizing leg. Stepping opposite leg back. And again, finding maybe that knee drives up. That back knee stays just a hover. Pull back up through those glutes. Maybe slow it down. Feel that engagement. Whoop. Keep those front toes spreading wide. Ten more seconds. Push yourself. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back up to standing. Grab a drink. And then we're going to make our way onto the opposite side. So finding yourself on your side. Knees bent, ankles in line with the hips. Elbow is resting underneath the shoulder. So we're going to stay here. Focus on bringing that core in towards the lower back. Those low ribs are pulling in. Top of the head's pulling long, creating that space between the shoulder and the chest. Then maybe you take your band and then start opening and closing that top knee. Really open and close. Feel that glute working. Those glutes working. And again, if you don't really feel too much here, making sure you're not opening as you come up, keeping those hips stacked. And then maybe if you want, lifting the hips up, opening and closing here. Using that body weight, adding in a little bit more. Woo. Top of the head pulls long, breathe it out. Almost there. Drop the hips if you need. Low belly fires up. Those lower ribs are tucking in towards that low back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release yourself here. Give yourself a big hug. Maybe you rock side to side. Grabbing a drink. Doing whatever feels good for your body. And then we'll slowly lower onto the back. Drawing knees wide. Coming into a restorative happy baby. Rocking side to side. Maybe straighten one leg and then the other. Planting the sole of the right foot, we'll cross the left ankle over top of the right knee, drawing left knee away from you. Left toes are actively pressing back towards the shin. Breathing into your figure 4. Maybe you walk right foot in, lift it up, interlace the hands. Find whatever modification works for you. Releasing the hands, releasing the foot. Coming into that 2-minute break. Just take a drink. Take some movement. Whatever you need. Then if you have a band, keep it handy if you would like it. For the next exercise, we are going to be in our tabletop doing some leg rainbows. So if you want, you can keep the band underneath one knee as the other leg has it around the thigh. Just keeps that resistance through the legs. If not, we're going to activate through the body. It's finding your tabletop position, grounding down firmly through the palms. Feel the bases of the hands pulling in towards the knees as the knees are pulling in towards the palms of the hands. So you feel that activation, that's stabilizing through the core. So then we're going to shift the weight over into the left foot, picking up that right leg. Hips stay parallel towards the mat. From here, we're going to find those rainbows, drawing up through the glutes, toes pointing towards the mat, breathing here, top of the head extends. Breathe it out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This time we're going to cross it over, open the hip, kick it to the side, cross it back over, close the hip. Open the hip, cross it over, kick, cross it over, close the hip. Open, kick, cross, close. Open, kick, cross, close. One more time. Open, kick, cross that leg, close the hip, drop the knees down, take it wide, child's pose. Breathe. Letting go of any tension. Maybe you rotate through the wrists, releasing through the hands, pulsing through the fingers. I'm very out of breath today, so hopefully you are too. And then finding that tabletop, we'll inhale, drop the belly, lifting the top of the head as you exhale, rounding, finding your cat-cows. Find that neutral table. We'll extend the left leg this time, keeping that core strong, hips parallel towards the mat. And we'll find our arches side to side. So just tapping opposite sides of the mat. Try not to allow too much movement through that core. Low belly is pulling up and in towards the ceiling. Glutes are strong and active. Pull up through glutes, pull up through the glutes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cross it over, open the hip, find that kick, cross it back over, close the hip. Open, kick, cross, close. Open, kick, cross, close. Making sure you're not dumping into that opposite elbow. Arms are straight, keeping that space between the shoulder blades. 2 more times. Open, kick, cross it back over, close. Open, kick, cross, close. Drop the knee, take them wide, child's pose. Find a breath, find a drink. Tacking toes under, shifting hips up and back, downward facing dog. Breathing here, feel that space between the shoulders. Drawing the heels down towards the mat. Inhale, left leg rises, bending the knee, opening hip wide, finding that fire hydrant. Right heel pulls down towards the mat. Exhale, drop it down. Shift side to side in your downward dog. Shifting over, we're going to come into our side planks. So if you need to drop the knees coming onto the side. If you want to come to the elbow, finding your elbow. And then you can either stay here, just dipping those hips up and down, or maybe you stack the feet, finding your variation of side plank today. Just working on driving those hips up. Maybe you find a slight turn, tipping that top hip forwards, feeling a little bit more through that inner core. Breathe it out. Top of the head pulls long. Almost there. If you need to, just holding in your plank, find small pulses. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower onto the belly. Release the arms. Point toes out. Shake out the hips. Take a breath. Find a drink. Tops of feet come back to the mat. Extending arms out wide. Looking at left fingertips tented. Bending into that right arm. So looking at the left fingertips. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, twisting open to that right side. One more deep breath. Inhale back to center, bending into that left arm this time, extending right arm with fingertips tented, looking over to the right side. Inhale, right leg rises. Exhale, twist. Keep those glutes pressing through towards the front of the hips. Feel that long line through the toes all the way up through the top of the head. Inhale back to center. This time we're going to come on to our opposite side. So finding your opposite side plank, whatever variation you did on the opposite side. Stacking elbow, maybe you come onto the wrists and lifting those hips up, either dropping that back knee or that bottom knee and maybe just lifting here, or you stack the feet one in front of the other. Hip dips up, up. Breathe through it. Maybe you drive that top hip forwards. Breathing through it, almost there. Top of the head pulls long. Small pulses, just up and down. Breathe it out. Keep that space between the stacked shoulder. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down, release. Find a drink, find any sort of movement. Maybe you pull through the fingers, interlacing the hands. Release here. Whew. All right, great work. So if you have your band, bring it to the thighs. If you don't, that's okay too. And make your way to standing. We're going to work on a crab walk, side to side. This is our last bit of movement. Well, our last bit of activation, I guess. Sending the hips back, finding your squat position. And then we're going to walk it towards the back of the mat. Stay low, walk it towards the front. Breathe it out. Maybe you can step those feet a little bit wider, stay a little bit lower. Not very long here. 10, 9, send those hips back a little bit farther. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the band, shake out the legs. You are done. Inhale, sweep arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge from the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding, planting hands, stepping or hopping back. Downward facing dog. Paddle it out here. Rock those hips side to side. Bend through one knee and then the other. Whew. Catch that breath. And inhale, reaching that right leg up, bending the knee, opening hip wide, finding fire hydrant, drawing left heel in towards the mat. Shifting forwards, we're going to take the knee behind the right elbow, ankle behind the left wrist. Finding your pigeon pose, walk that left foot back, drop back knee, untuck back toes. Make sure that leg is coming from a straight line from the hip. Breathing here, chest lifts. Pressing that left hip forwards, right hip pulls back. Front toes are active, breathe. Maybe you can stay here. Maybe you can lift the fingertips, bringing the hands to heart center, or maybe you exhale, fold over the leg. Take a breath here. One more deep breath. Pressing your way up onto the hands, tucking back toes under, lifting the back knee. We'll send it up into a three-legged dog, shake it out. And coming back into that normal downward dog. Flow through your vinyasa. Inhale, shift forwards to plank. Exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog cobra or baby cobra. Exhale, tuck toes under, meet in that downward facing dog. Excuse me. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to inhale, left leg up, bending the knee, shifting forwards, coming into pigeon on the opposite side. So stacking knee behind left elbow, ankle behind that right wrist. Making sure you have that nice straight line through that back leg. Breathe here. And again, any sort of modifications, adjustments that you made on the other side. Maybe you come to the fingertips. Maybe you lift the hands. Or maybe you exhale, lower down, folding over front leg. One more deep breath. Slowly inhaling, come up onto the hands. We're going to roll onto that right, or onto the left hip, sorry. Bringing your right leg out in front. Extending both of those legs out in front. Removing any flesh from beneath the sit bones. Inhale, sweeping arms up overhead. As you exhale, hinge from those hips. Draw the belly to the thighs. And then exhale, allow that gentle rounding through the spine. Bending the knees as much as you need. Exhaling into your fold, holding here. Drawing the top of the head towards the tops of the feet. Tops of the feet are pulling back towards the tops of the head. And maybe you can start to straighten through one leg and then the other as you feel those thighs pulling back. Feel those glutes working. Inhale, slowly coming up, planting the soles of the feet, making your way onto the back with control. Finding any sort of last little bits of movement before setting up for your shavasana. Excuse me. Whenever you're ready, extending the legs, maybe you keep a bend to the knees. Toes can be out wide. Arms can be out wide. Or maybe you take one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart today. Softening through the jawline, tucking the shoulders in. Creating space through the front body. Feel proud of yourself. Proud of your body. Sending gratitude to our heart, to our lungs. To the breath as it flows in and out of the body. Renewing cells, renewing emotions, toxins. As you pull the breath in all the way down through tips of the toes. And then exhaling, forcefully pressing out anything you would like to get rid of today. Maybe it's emotional, maybe it's physical, maybe it's mental, maybe it's spiritual. Whatever you might be getting rid of or taking in today, honoring where you are at. taking a few more breaths here, softening through the eyelids, the jawline, the cheekbones, shoulders, chest, and the forehead. Bringing your awareness back to movements, gentle movements in the fingers, and the toes, the wrists, and the ankles. Gently rocking the head side to side. And if it feels good, extending the arms up overhead, stretching through the fingers, pointing through the toes to opposite ends of the room. Feel the rib cage expand as you inhale deeply. And exhale, let it go. One more time, inhale deeply. Exhale, let it go. Bending the knees, either rolling onto the side, cradling the head and the arms, or maybe you rock your way up into a comfortable seated position. Placing one shin in front of the other, drawing the hands to heart center, sitting up tall, feeling proud. Proud of your breath. Proud of your body for everything that it does for you. Even sometimes when we might not treat it the best, it always pulls through. So thinking of 2 other things that you're grateful for today. And then find those deep breaths, really pull it in. Bringing the thumbs up, the eyebrows will bow. Thanking everybody else for sharing our practice. Slowly coming back up. Bring the hands to the knees. We'll take a deep breath together. One more breath, and this time on your exhale, let out your rebel yell. So inhale deeply. Exhale, let it go. Woo-woo! Namaste. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again next time.